Hi, my name is Viji. Welcome to Overcoming Church Abuse, 5 Steps to Meaningful Change and Healing. In this video, we'll discuss Step 4, Befriend being disliked and misunderstood. If you haven't watched the video on Step 1, Unravel Toxic Theology, the video on Step 2, Go No Contact with High Control Religion, and the video on Step 3, Don't Replace Mental Health Care with Church Counseling, please watch them first. The playlist will be linked in the description below. In this video, we'll discuss the impact that religious abuse has on self-esteem and self-worth, how to evict our harsh inner critic, and how to stop caring about what other people think and say. So let's get into it. Part 1. The impact that religious abuse has on self-esteem and self-worth. One of the most tragic outcomes of religious church abuse is that it distorts the self-perception of survivors. We often think that we are inherently flawed. In the first video of this series, we talked about toxic theology. When I was a kid at the Fundamentalist Baptist Church, I was taught that I was born with a sin nature. I was taught the same thing as a teenager at the Reformed, aka Calvinist Church. The same people who taught me that all people are born in complete moral depravity also didn't support me when I came forward about being abused in the church. Perhaps they're morally depraved. That doesn't mean that everyone else is. Teaching people that we were born hopelessly dirty and broken erodes our self-esteem and self-worth before we even have a chance to develop them. It infuses us with toxic shame that is undue and undeserved. When we are taught that we can't trust our inner voice or instincts, it sets us up to be abused, controlled, and silenced down the line. It leads us to hating or even loathing ourselves. We're also taught that the love and acceptance that we have received from God and our faith community is conditional on moral performance. Very often, if we stand up for ourselves or go against the grain, we suffer crippling rejection from the faith community that we were a part of for so long. Believing that love and acceptance is conditional can lead to people-pleasing behavior. That means we do too much for others, putting their needs before ours, hoping that it will bring us love and acceptance. When that doesn't work, and it never does, we end up beating ourselves up even more. This fractured sense of self can lead to perfectionism and mental health struggles. We discussed religious abuse and mental health in more detail in video 3 of the series. Church abuse robs us of our core identity. We may experience pressure to behave, dress, speak, and live in inauthentic ways. For example, I was always told that as a girl, I had a big mouth because I wasn't shy to speak my mind. I spent years of my life trying to suppress my core personality, thinking that I was intrinsically flawed. It is a common experience for victims of spiritual abuse to be accused of being angry, bitter, or unforgiving. I was rebuked when I came forward. I was told that I was being sinful for my emotional experience. Having appropriate emotional responses doesn't mean there is something wrong with us, but thinking that we have to suppress our emotions or pretend that they don't exist invalidates our pain and damages our sense of self. We may have felt pressure to sacrifice our hopes, dreams, and the true desires of our hearts. It's hard, if at all possible, to feel good about ourselves if we think that our true selves are unacceptable, or if we do everything we can to deny our true selves in order to be good enough. I cannot stress this enough. We are born worthy, not dirty. You are not broken, depraved, or too much. You are not a sinner for having appropriate emotional responses to your experiences. Your personality is an asset, not a flaw, and your true self deserves to shine. This leads us to part 2, how to evict our harsh inner critic. Our inner critic is the voice in our head that tells us bad things about ourselves. It may tell us that we are stupid, ugly, or worthless. We think that it's our own voice, but it's not. Just about anyone who has survived abuse has a harsh inner critic. It is the voice of the abuser that lingers with us. It even bothers us for years or decades after we get the abuser out of our lives. Abusers are insecure people who project their own feelings of inadequacy onto others. So our inner critics are liars, but they feel very real. It blocks us from being the people we were meant to be. It also makes us more susceptible to internalizing other people's judgments and misconceptions about us. When I was learning how to drive, the person who taught me had a short fuse. He would get mad and yell at me if I made a mistake. He would tell me that I will never learn how to drive. Even after I got my license, I was still afraid to drive. I thought I couldn't do it. A family friend surprised me with a car when I was 19. It was an old car and they didn't think they would get much for it if they sold it. So they were kind enough to gift it to me. One day when I was feeling especially powerless, something came over me. I got in the car, turned on the engine, and started driving. I realized that I could drive. When we're told cruel things, our brains store the trauma. For example, if your first grade teacher humiliated you and told you that you'll never be good at reading, the trauma gets stored in your brain. Every time you try to read, the trauma that it caused gets triggered and it blocks you from being able to read. And then your harsh inner critic works overtime to tell you that you can't read. But in reality, you do have the competency to be a good reader. We can challenge the false beliefs we have about ourselves that have become strongholds in our minds through positive reinforcement. We can tell ourselves that we are smart and capable, and we will practice until we get good at reading. Words of affirmation are not magical hocus pocus. There are scientific reasons why they do work. In time, the positive reinforcement helps diffuse the trauma caused by being told that you can't read. If you consistently affirm yourself, combating the voice of your inner critic, and you are patient and you practice, you'll find yourself becoming a better reader. Our inner critics also blocks us from giving our desires, hopes, and dreams a fair try to begin with. Ever since I was very young, I would admire people who had a green thumb. I wanted to be known as someone with a green thumb, but I thought I couldn't do it because the few times I brought home a house plant, it died. I assumed that it was just one more thing that I was a failure at. So I would say that I just don't have a green thumb. One day, a friend with a green thumb told me that, unfortunately, you have to kill a lot of plants to learn how to keep them alive. Armed with that knowledge, I changed my inner dialogue. I started to collect small, inexpensive plants. Anytime a plant died or I struggled with the plant, my inner critic would say, "See, you can't do it." And I would say back, "I'm a beginner. I'm still learning and I'll get better with practice." Some of those little plants are so big and lush now that I struggle to find space for them in my home. And now I'm known as someone with a green thumb. The greatest weapon we have against a lie is the truth. So if we commit to combating our inner critics with positive affirmations every day, we can change the trajectories of our lives. When our inner critics tell us that we are worthless, we can say, "I am worthy." When it tells us that we are stupid, we can say, "I am smart." It's like if we had a cup of water and we dropped a drop of red ink into it. The water turns red. If we pour a spoonful of clear water in the same cup every day, eventually the clear water will flush out the red water until all the water in the cup is clear again. Not only will we find more joy, peace, and fulfillment in our lives as we evict our harsh inner critic, but we also become less susceptible to believing the lies others tell about us or internalizing their criticisms. We start to like ourselves for who we are, and we care less about what other people think. We also tolerate less and less mistreatment. We start enjoying our own company, and we start attracting a better quality of people into our lives. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. We are never too old or too far gone to start healing and making positive changes for ourselves. I understand that there are other problems in our broken system that can hold us back. This is not an end-all be-all solution, but it is a powerful one that we have control over. This leads us to part 3, how to stop caring about what other people think and say. Well, this isn't easy, but it is achievable. Like anything else worthwhile, it takes time, patience, consistency, and practice. One of the most fruitful strategies when it comes to not caring about what other people think is establishing a strong sense of boundaries for ourselves. It is important to know where someone else ends and where we start, and vice versa. People who don't understand where this line is are often nosy or controlling. Then they feel offended if you don't tell them your business or do what they say because they have no idea how inappropriate they are. On the flip side, not understanding where the line is can also lead us to internalizing their criticisms and opinions of us. When a person can't do their own inner work, they project onto others through criticism and control. It's them, not you. Chronically insecure or jealous people will try to use you as a container for their own emotional vomit. But this is their cross to bear, not yours. It's like the toxic mother who criticizes her daughter's looks. The problem isn't her daughter's looks. The daughter will think it is, but it's the mother's insecurities, self-loathing, and other personality problems. The only person someone can truly expose by their words and actions is themselves. When we don't understand this, it's easy to fall into the trap of carrying other people's burdens. But it's not your responsibility to change their opinions or fix their dysfunctions. It's theirs. Either they do their own inner work or they don't heal. Regardless, it's not your problem. And what they think or say doesn't determine who you are. In the meanwhile, the best thing for the rest of us to do is focus on ourselves and do our own healing. Some people will find someone else to hassle if you appear unbothered. Others will amp up the aggression. If ignoring someone isn't enough, you may have to consider going no contact. As human beings, we will always be affected by the attitudes of the people around us. There is no point in taking an antidote for a poison if we just turn around and drink more of that same poison. In video 2 of the series, we talked about going no contact with high control religion. Some of the most difficult people to set boundaries with are those who are completely indoctrinated with toxic religious beliefs. It's not beneficial to keep debating people who have a limited worldview. I understand how hard it is, especially if your family or close friends are still ingrained in the religious system that has caused you harm. None of this will ever be easy, and it can be lonely, especially in the beginning. But we don't heal where we were harmed. As we dismantle the lies that we have been told about ourselves, it is important to get to know ourselves. Ask yourself what your best qualities are. What makes you unique? What did you enjoy as a child? What are the simple things that you enjoy doing or would like to start doing? What are a few things that you can start doing that are just for you and nobody else? Would you like to take daily walks, read a few pages out of a book that interests you every Sunday afternoon, do a little gardening before logging into work? Take yourself out to lunch? What are the different ways that you can get to know yourself again and start enjoying your own company? It feels unnatural in the beginning, but as you get to know yourself for who you truly are, prioritize your interests and start enjoying your own company. What other people think becomes less important. Having a strong sense of your own identity is worth far more than anybody liking you. It also draws the right people into your life. Just about anybody who stands up for themselves or for what's right experiences being disliked and misunderstood. As human beings, it is natural to be hurt by this. But befriending this reality helps us understand the truth behind our experiences of rejection. The stronger we grow in our own identity, the more skilled we become at managing this harsh reality. To be able to carve out a path in life that is in alignment with our true selves and the deepest desires of our hearts, we have to know ourselves first. The next and final video of the series, Carve Out Your Own Path, You Don't Need Anyone's Approval, is all about bringing our lives into alignment with our true selves. There is a free downloadable worksheet on the Surviving Religious Narcissism website that is designed to help you befriend being disliked. You can find it by navigating to survivingreligiousnarcissism.com/course and scrolling down to Module 4. I encourage you to take advantage of this resource. If you are struggling with the harsh inner critic, there is an eBook workbook called Self-Talk Repair Workbook, 6 months of evicting the inner critic, available for purchase on the Surviving Religious Narcissism website. Please comment your thoughts below, and if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. That would be helpful to me. As always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.